Hello and welcome back to another video. I am so glad that you're here. On this channel, I talk about news, controversies, and drama on the bookish side of the internet, and I certainly hope you'll stick around. Today's video is about yet another awful book event company putting on an absolute disaster of an event. Well, kind of. The next line in my original script was, "And here's the kicker, as of this filming, it hasn't even happened yet." But in the time between I wrote that line and had time to film, the whole thing has been canceled. But I've got so much to tell you about how we got there, so settle in, folks. This will be a long one, although they're kind of all long ones at this point. Anyways, I've said it in previous videos, but it bears repeating here. There will be no victim blaming tolerated in the comments. The authors that were involved in this situation did nothing to deserve this, so we're not doing that at all. So the Blackhearts book signing was set to take place in Nashville, Tennessee on August 2nd, 2025. This event is run by Unalive Promotions, a company that puts on events, organizes social media book tours, and also offers formatting and editing services. The company is owned by dark romance author Tristina Brockway, I think. So between multiple authors and myself, we could not figure out with 100% certainty if she is in fact the owner of the company, but she is for sure the one in charge of everything to do with this event. I try really hard to make sure I get all the details right in these videos, but please just know that I tried. So I first became aware of this whole situation when I saw the following threads from an author named Hope E. Davis. She says, "Sigh, another bookish event drama loading. Ugh." And people, in her comments are question marks. "Just posted the details in my other thread. Which event? I'll DM you. They're apparently fixing it, so I'm not putting them on blast yet. But if it's not fixed by Tuesday, it'll be everywhere, I guarantee it." And it was. Now, I think she was incredibly gracious to give Tristina the opportunity to resolve some of the issues before revealing the name of the event, but unfortunately, the situation only got worse from there. So here is where Hope kinda spilled the tea. "Bookish drama event details. Sorry for being cryptic yesterday. I had hoped this was just an honest mistake and things would be cleared up, but everything has just gotten worse in the last 24 hours, so here we go. Details. The event was Blackhearts book signing in Nashville, Tennessee, taking place on August 2nd, that's supposed to say 25. On July 27th, all authors who booked the room received a notice that their room was canceled. Not only that, but the event space was canceled due to non-payment. I immediately reached out to the social media contact who reached out to the organizer and said it was a mistake and that everything would be cleared up when her payment cleared the bank on Tuesday. Then today, 7/28, only 5 days from the event, we are notified of a new venue nowhere close to the old one. But now everyone is worried that if this location is paid for and why the last one wasn't, since we all paid our table fees months ago. Not to mention, how will the 200 plus attendees find the new location? The lack of communication is terrifying, and many authors are already backing out since many of us were coming in from out of state. The organizer is refusing to answer questions about why the venue wasn't changed sooner, and if people can back out and still receive their money. Basically, it looks like it might be another A Million Lives situation. If you don't know about that one, I'll link my video about it up above. And I am personally deciding if I should still attend. I already have all my books on me, so it seems dumb to just go home instead of continue my travels. But to be honest, I can't afford another A Million Lives. I can't. This year has been cruel to indie authors, and as the second failed event I somehow signed up for, I can't do this again. If even one person is coming to see me in Nashville and buy books, I'll be there. So if that's you, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just go home and at least be comfortable while being sad." And she had replies, "If you have a flight to Nashville, then to home, contact the airline, see if they can cancel and give you credit to use within the year. Then you can look into booking something within the next year that has better vibes." I think writers are going to need to start contacting venues to verify paid booking. I know some organizers are hesitant to pay until they get booth payments, but we're at a point where the venue is paid, here's how to verify, would actually entice more writers, which is just sad. For those who book travel, many airlines will let you cancel flights for credit. Sure, not the same as money back in your bank, but at least it's no loss. Contact hotels when venues are canceled. For the rest, file disputes. And Hope says, "Honestly, the table fee costs more than my flight, so I want that back." Noelle says, "Contact your card issuer That should be an easy dispute/chargeback. The venue was changed on short notice, which is a breach of contract. I'm so sorry this shit keeps happening. It's not acceptable by any means. And Hope says it was through PayPal a year ago. Of course, their terms for a refund are 180 days. The more of these situations I see, the more I hate PayPal. I know it's one of those things that's like easy for small businesses and one-person operations to use, but it just seems like there is so little buyer protection. And even when the transaction is labeled like as goods and services, and there should be. So let's backtrack some. Unalive Promotions has put on multiple events, and I've really yet to find anyone have something good to say. There's a few here and there, but the earliest event I can find, and I'm pretty sure was their first one, was this Blackhearts book signing 2024, which was last August. They have put on 2 other events, not including one that was canceled, but more on that in a bit. And it also appears that the turnaround time between Tristina attending her first event as an author and then beginning promotion for her own was quite quick. So on March 22nd, 2023, she wrote, "I'm super excited to be attending my first book signing event as an author. I hope to see some of you there. If anyone is in the area, come say hey. October 21st, 2023, 12:30 to 6, Graceland, all of that, all the information." So this event took place in October of 2023, and in January 2024, she's looking for event photographers for her Blackhearts event in August. Looking for quotes for event photography for the Blackhearts book signing and masquerade ball in Nashville, Tennessee, August 16th through 18th. Any local photographers with event photography experience interested, please contact me for quotes and more info. And yeah, she posts that in January. So only 4 months after she goes to her first event. Additionally, she starts advertising for another event called Mystic Nights, set to take place only 2 months after the first event. So to recap, she attends her first ever event in October 23, and within 3 months, is planning events of her own. Now, if she had like a history of being an event planner or involved in that industry, I'd be less critical. But the only work history I could find for her is a bunch of MLMs, which I'm sure won't come as a huge shock. On LinkedIn, she has a few different profiles, and so I know that, people don't update their LinkedIn. I certainly don't, but you would think she would write that on there if she had more job experience. So this one, which seems to be the most recent, says social media manager at Social Scoop Marketing. And her about says, "For 10 years I worked in direct sales, but in the end what I found out is that I truly loved marketing and creating much more. For the past 3 years I've been working with amazing clients just like you. What I most look forward to with each new client is breathing life back into your brand, making it fun again." And on another profile, Tristina Brockway, independent distributor at Skinny Body Care, take a free tour at whatever. And another one, gift consultant at Labella Baskets, which is also an MLM. So yeah, on all of these except the first profile, the only jobs listed are MLM companies, which just, for me, always sends off huge red flags. I am pretty anti-MLM, so. Okay, so let's see how this first event, the 2024 edition of Blackhearts, played out according to an author that attended. I was at the 2024 Blackhearts event. Here's how it was. 3 separate locations for room block, masquerade ball, and signing, with all 3 requiring valet parking of $40 plus. Room block hotel was 10 plus miles from the event venue, which was also a hotel. Meet and greet had no signs and no name tags, and random people from the hotel were just wandering in among us, while only alcohol was negotiated with the bar for our 1 free drink. Which is confusing, so, what if you just wanted, a Coke? You couldn't get that because it wasn't alcohol? Because that's, not how this usually works, but it doesn't really matter. I can't speak on the ball because I refused to pay an additional $175 plus parking/Uber for what was essentially a themed high school dance. As for the signing itself, at a hotel in downtown Nashville, and you pretty much had no choice but to valet as the author. The ballroom was on the 2nd floor, so everyone had to use the elevators. By the time you got up to the level we were on, there was no signage directing us where to go, and we were in the farthest ballroom from the elevators. There was no one to check in authors, and the volunteers present were trying to get a hold of the organizers to find out what we were supposed to be doing. After 20 minutes past the official setup time, Authors just went into the ballroom and found our tables based on the map in the Facebook group and started to set up ourselves. The organizers didn't show up for another hour at least because they were hungover from the ball the night before. The total number of attendees was probably around 100, with most of those being there for the one author from Australia. The bingo cards had everyone confused as there was no instructions for either authors or readers on what to do with them. The snacks weren't labeled, and people were saying the almond cupcakes were vanilla, and the organizers didn't see an issue with that. And Wi-Fi access required another charge, which, I'm pretty sure, I don't know how most authors do their sales, but if you're doing, Square or anything, you need Wi-Fi. I sold 8 books over the 6 hours we were signing. Sunday was a catered brunch with a Q&A panel. The food was leftovers from the ball on Friday night. There were maybe 10 people who showed up to attend this, and a bunch left after they saw the food being offered. After that experience, I said I wouldn't do another Unalive event until they've proven themselves. Since I was never removed from the Facebook group from last year, I watched the train wreck unfolding for this year, and I'm glad I didn't sign up for any other events with them. So, that is all just outrageous, starting with 3 separate locations. $175 for this ball, 2-day-old food for the brunch, and around 100 total attendees. That's no good. Colby Cam says, was at the Blackhearts event last year as an assistant for a handful of authors. It was a shit show, but we hoped it was because it was the first event they hosted. The amount of whining and gaslighting Tristina is capable of blows my mind. Can't wait to hear how she's the victim now. And as I mentioned, she didn't even want to wait and see how this first event went before planning another. No. She's got this one going 2 months later, and it went about as well as the first. So, Mystic Knights book signing took place October 18th through 20th, 2024 in Covington, Georgia. I am not 100% sure where the hotel was located for this one, but the signing and the costume ball were held at locations 22 miles away from one another. So, no matter where the hotel was located, it wasn't close to both of these places. Maybe one, maybe in the middle, but if you were attending both events, you were going to be doing some driving one way or another. Not only that, but many guests were made extremely uneasy by the horrific racial history of the city, including 2 nearby plantations and the site of the famous Morris Ford lynching. The city has also historically been accused of being a sundown town, and so I can't say with certainty if this is true, but, even if it was just speculated and suggested, I can see why people, and particularly people of color, would be wary of this. So a few days after the event, they say, "It is with a heavy heart that we announce we will no longer be hosting the Mystic Knights book signing and costume ball. We sincerely apologize to anyone who felt uncomfortable or hurt by the location being near a city associated with a painful history of racial violence, specifically lynching. We were warned about the issue, and in hindsight, it should have been taken more seriously and looked into further. This was a mistake, and we deeply regret not acting on that information at the time. We take full responsibility for not being more informed before booking the venue, and we are committed to ensuring this doesn't happen again. Moving forward, we will be more diligent in our research and planning to guarantee that all future events are inclusive, safe, and welcoming for everyone. Your voices are important to us, and we will work to create spaces that honor and respect everyone's needs. Thank you for your understanding, patience, and continued support as we strive to do better." So, this event is no more. Don't worry though, the next event put on by Unalive Promotions is right around the corner in January with Frosted Flames, which I keep accidentally calling Frosted Flakes, in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Now, Elle Backenstow was involved in the Aces Wild event, poor thing. I hope she finds some good events to attend, but anyway, she asked about this event over on Threads. Anyone attend Frosted Flames book signing this past year? Getting early red flags from event coordinators who are planning several other events this year. And Leah Lane says, "My friends and I did. No real advertisement outside of the group. Attitude when questions were asked the morning of when they weren't prepared. Around 100 authors in a busy hotel, maybe 50 readers. Those who came were great, but the coordinators failed us. There have been other complaints regarding events they've done, but this was my first and last with them." And she just said thank you. So while I haven't heard, anything exceptionally horrible happening at that one, for the authors who paid a lot to travel to and attend this event, a lack of advertisement is a big deal. And After this event, some authors started to catch on and cancel their registrations for other events. So next on the schedule for Unalive promotions was Sirens by the Sea in Destined, Fort Walton Beach, Florida in April. But this is another event that was canceled. On March 12th, about a month before, important update, we're sad to announce that the Sirens by the Sea book signing and bonfire has been canceled due to low attendance and recent cancellations. This was not an easy decision, but we want to ensure the best experience for our authors and readers. We appreciate your support and hope to see you at a future event. And then they advertise future events. So yeah, they basically canceled the event because word was getting around in the author community that this was not a company to be trusted and people were backing out. And this was, again, mid-March for an event in April. And as is customary with these scammy events, people are still waiting to be refunded. Author Arson Quinn says this is a continuing problem with Unalive promotions. I was supposed to be signing at their April event, which got canceled. We were promised refunds in 60 to 90 days when it got canceled, and were told when asked about it, basically, we need a successful event to pay everyone back. They are robbing authors to pay for their future events that they aren't promoting at all. Either that or pocketing all of our money. Do not sign for this company. Toxic Love Publishing says, please be cautious with this company. We still haven't been refunded from their canceled Sirens by the Sea event in April for a $350 table fee. They seem to be insolvent financially since they can't issue refunds, and we were told it's coming out of pocket. Beware. So this is not a thing. If you cancel an event, you need to refund people. This is so like Britt Andrews adjacent. If you can't deliver on what was promised, then you need to refund people. I can't believe how often I have to say things like similar to that sentence. And if you don't have the money to do that, then odds are good that you didn't use the money the way you were supposed to. And sure, there's a chance that they weren't able to get any money refunded from the venue because it was too close to the event. But like at that point, you'd think it would be easier to just not cancel the event. If your money is going to be used anyways, just like keep it on. Which brings us finally to the Blackhearts 2025 event. Now the problems with this and the lack of communication started long ago. On November 30th, 2024, Katie Comer says, trying to reach an admin, completed our invoice but was sent to and was wondering when rest of authors will be announced so we can let everybody know. And then on December 17th, she said, not trying to be a pain in the ass, just trying to get some answers and ideas, confirmation before we book flights. Have an email out since December 7th, trying to get answers to why double invoice. And would you be able to tell us when the attending authors will be updated, as well as when tickets for the event will go on sale? We want to make sure that our supporters that would want to go are informed on all fronts. And Tristina says, we will get it canceled. I apologize for the delay. I've been sick the past few weeks and running behind. Again, if you're sick, but tell people that. Don't just ignore them. I'm finally on the other side of things, minus the breathing and coughing like crazy. I'm working to get tickets up this week along with updated attendee graphics. And Katie says, I apologize on the constant emails and messages. We just didn't know what was going on with everything. If knowing, we wouldn't have sent so many emails. But thank you for letting us know, and will attending authors be able to have links before the public? We have some additional people who want to attend and a lot of followers as well. If we can announce before tickets go on sale, that would be a better option for all authors. So she was double charged and couldn't even get a response for 3 weeks. And we know these tables are not cheap. So by March, there still hasn't been much in the way of updates from Tristina. March 3rd. What kind of turnout should we expect? Trying to get a plan for merch and books to bring. I'm wondering myself as well. Following, curious as well. Tristina says, last year was our first year. We had around 200 general admission and 50 VIP for signing. We had around 60 VIP at ball and around 100 general admission ball. We expect an increase this year, but it's hard to say numbers until closer to the event. And someone says, can you tell us current numbers? From what I could see, the single biggest issue for all of the previous events that's just kind of umbrellaed over all of them is the lack of advertising. It appears that the bulk of advertising was actually like in the different event groups for the author and readers, which, you know, the people already know about the event if they're in there. And another thing that really seems to affect attendance is the fact that general admission tickets are free. And while it's great that it opens things up to a wider group who can attend because finances, maybe not be as much of an issue, there are some obvious things that will cause problems with this. One, since there's no monetary commitment, people are way more likely to reserve tickets and then not show up, which makes it incredibly hard to estimate a head count for attendees, which makes it really difficult for authors to know how many books to buy and bring, that kind of thing. And two, by not charging for admission except in the case of the small number of VIP tickets, you're losing out on a ton of revenue, which has to come from somewhere, and so it makes the table fees higher for authors and vendors. So June comes along, tickets aren't being reserved like they need to be, and Tristina decides to cancel the masquerade ball. Important update: Blackhearts weekend. Hey everyone, I want to thank you all for your patience and support as we prepare for Blackhearts weekend in Nashville. After a lot of thought and running through every detail numerous times, we've made the difficult decision to cancel the masquerade ball. Due to limitations and timing conflicts, continuing with the ball would place too much strain on the resources needed to make the book signing the experience you all deserve. The book signing is 100% still happening. It remains on track for Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, and we're putting all our energy into making it a success. If you purchased a ticket for the ball, you will be issued a refund. These will be processed in batches over the next 90 days, and I truly appreciate your patience during this time. We are currently in the process of updating all graphics and materials to reflect these changes. If you see an older image that still mentions the ball, feel free to disregard it. Updated versions are rolling out soon. Looking ahead to next year, we've decided to focus solely on the book signing and will not be hosting a masquerade ball. This allows us to grow steadily and deliver consistent, high-quality experiences for authors, vendors, and readers while continuing to build momentum. If you have any questions, feel free to message me or email unalivepromotions@gmail.com. We thank you again for your understanding and support. We can't wait to see you at the signing. And if you remember back in June, I think it was, the Ace is Wild book signing also canceled their big event in the evening because they didn't have enough people sign up and people had already bought tickets. While we're on the subject, what is the deal with every signing event needing to have some big ball? It feels like this huge extra event that really does not need to be included in a first or second year event. And it feels like a lot of these event coordinators don't understand that it would be a lot better to just do their one small signing really well than have a bunch of events all the weekend that are shitty. So on July 27th, all authors who booked their hotels through the room block were notified that due to their event being canceled, their reservations had been maybe reverted to the regular price and not the room block rate. Someone said they were canceled completely, but that doesn't really make sense with the next part. So I'm pretty sure that that's what happened, that they had been reverted to the full price. They were no longer part of the discounted room block rate. And the people who didn't have rooms reserved were completely left in the dark. And at the same time, all Tristina is saying that the event is still on at the Hilton, which is where it was supposed to be held, she just needs to get a new contract, which the hotel just happens to have no idea about. She says, important update, please read. Hey everyone, I wanted to clear up any confusion ASAP. The event is not canceled. The Hilton canceled our original contract because the payment was still pending and doesn't officially clear until Tuesday. Which, what? That doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. However, they've already confirmed I can call back this week to finalize a new contract once the payment clears, and we'll get a new room block link out to you then, likely Tuesday or Wednesday. Sorry, I have to go back. Why would a payment not have cleared? Because you have the money for it. You should have already paid it, right? That said, I'm also securing a backup venue just in case. The backup space is closer to downtown Nashville, larger, and all in one room instead of being split across two like at the Hilton. This event is still on. We'll have a final venue confirmation by Tuesday, and I'll keep you posted every step of the way. Thanks so much for your patience and understanding as I work to lock in the best possible setup for everyone. Keep in mind that this is, yes, a final venue confirmation by Tuesday, and the event is Saturday. So, not a lot of time there to, play with. Comments on that. I'm most likely not attending this anymore. Even if somehow Hilton will miraculously accommodate us, all around this is completely unprofessional and stressful for us authors, especially for those of us from out of state. I would say I'd like a refund on my table fee, but it's pretty clear the organizers have spent it already, since the whole reason Hilton says it was canceled is due to lack of funds. I honestly just want a response from Tristina to know what the fuck is going on, because the more this drags on, the more I do not want to attend. Exactly. This is exactly where I am at too. I am out regardless. This is unacceptable. Real cute how they can't give us answers whatsoever, but can push their other events while this is going on. Honestly, I can back someone with a lot of things, but this is pushing it. This is so close to the event. I've done other signings, and nothing is ever done this close to the event like this. There's no seating arrangement done yet. The hotel isn't paid for, and we may be changing venues. I was a bit worried when the ball was canceled before, but now this is honestly starting to worry me more and more. This is not okay to do to any authors, especially when you have a huge list of out-of-state authors coming in, and on top of that, not knowing anything. I live in Tennessee, and I still feel really off about this. I don't like not knowing things. Do you know how high that makes someone's anxiety? The event isn't even a week away anymore. Tuesday is asking a lot of people, and the lack of updates between yesterday and today is not okay. We need to be kept in the loop, told what is going on. Why did you wait this long to do this? Why is there? And then it cuts off. This is a screenshot someone sent me, so. It doesn't matter what happens at this point. The event is done. She just needs to cancel it and accept responsibility. I am also a Tennessee author. I live 45 minutes away from the would-be venue, and my husband said, if this were an out-of-state event, I would tell you to back out. I feel so bad for all the out-of-state authors. If I had to wait until Tuesday to know if I have a hotel room or not, I would be furious. The utter lack of communication is not only unprofessional, but super disrespectful to every author and vendor that gave their money to this event. I'm about 45 minutes away myself. This is honestly horrible. I'm trying my hardest not to press a refund, but the more time goes on with zero communication, it's really rubbing me the wrong way at this point. Not to mention, I don't know that I want to be listed as a sponsor at this rate with everything going how it is. Same. I'm fortunate enough to live in the city the would-be event would be taking place, and I'm not even 100% sure I want to attend now. The Hilton said they have no idea what she's talking about. It's still being held there, and that she can get a new contract tomorrow. I've reached out to my pre-orders to arrange them getting their book. As someone coming from Texas and has a 2-day drive, I am freaking out. Like, I am so unnerved and frankly anxious over making a decision on what to do with enough time to tell my readers if I cancel my hotel reservation. My reservation is at that Hilton, which now I don't think even matters as the event will 99% not be taking place there, so pretty upset about that. But my mom made it with points, so I don't know how canceling goes with that. Needless to say, again, I'm kind of freaking out. And this is my first ever event. Agree, I'm coming in from Florida, and this is a long drive for me. At this point, I'm really close to deciding not to go. This is not okay. Heads up, everyone, I am on the phone with the hotel canceling at the moment. They are trying to tell us that since this is so close to the actual event, the only thing they can do is move our reservation to another date we choose. Which doesn't make sense because we don't need another stay, we need it canceled. Needless to say, I think if you want your money back for the hotel, it's either today or not at all, if we can even cancel the room. She's really pushing for us to reschedule our booking, claiming this is the only exception they have. I'm not posting to spread fear, I'm posting so everyone here can make sure they're covered and get their money back if they choose to. Hopefully Tristina comes back with a plan or apology for those still attending. Okay, pro tip. I worked at Disney World for 6 years, so I lived in Orlando and we would make dinner reservations at Disney hotels. So you can't cancel within 24 hours without a penalty fee. So what you gotta do is you move it to a different day, which you can do for free, and then cancel it, because it's not 24 hours ahead of time. So, pro tip. I'm calling the sales department again later today. I called this morning and the manager is out and the person didn't have a lot of information. So I'll call back later and hopefully get more answers. But since it's a Hilton hotel, would they be willing to change your reservation to a different Hilton? And then someone else says that's weird because they rebooked my reservation just about an hour ago at the same price. So basically duplicated what I already had. She did say they have heard nothing from the promoters, and then it cuts off. So naturally people are freaked out because the event is days away. And, Unalive hadn't even told the attendees about the venue change. In the Facebook group for this event, is there any update about the new location for attendees? What new venue? Not to start any rumors, but the Hilton canceled the event yesterday for non-payment even though it was pending. Now we suddenly have a new venue. I'm surprised readers haven't been told. Authors got told the new venue over an hour ago. They sent out an email about it. Hopefully, we will find something out soon. Did they send one today, or was it the one from yesterday? Man, I was looking forward to not have to pay for parking this time. The one I got was from yesterday, letting us know that they might have to change hotels. Tristina chimes in and says, new hotel, Lowe's Vanderbilt Hotel, yada yada yada. Room block info will be posted tomorrow. So, the venue was changed at the last minute to a hotel that's 17 miles away, which might not seem like the biggest deal to some people, but given that the new location is right in downtown Nashville, there's no way that this drive takes less than 30 minutes. I took this screenshot at 10:43 on a Wednesday night, and it says 21 minutes. So imagine what that is in the middle of a Saturday afternoon. Now, the new location is closer to the airport, but it really doesn't matter because we can assume that most of the authors that were flying in had rental cars booked and hotels booked near the venue, if not at the host hotel. And if they can't get their money back, then they're going to have to drive 30 minutes at least to get there. Venue update, please read. The Blackhearts book signing is still on. We've just changed venues, new location, Lowe's Vanderbilt Hotel, all of that information. Are there any parking details at the new location? Same times? Katie Knight says, according to the event page, new times are 1 to 4 for general admission, so VIP should start at 12. And Christina says, I'm going to double check parking fees. I'll be there. Someone says, will you be assisting with the parking fee or any recommendations on parking nearby? And then we get, as a local, parking downtown isn't free until after 6 on Saturdays and all day Sundays. The hotel parking is $20. There was nothing in the email that the event would cover parking. Per the website for the venue, it's $20 an hour. So, parking was a huge concern for a lot of folks when it came to the venue change. Most hotels and convention centers in more suburban type areas have free or inexpensive parking, but downtown, that's a completely different story. Earlier the same day that the event was canceled, the following was posted in the signings Facebook group by the social media manager. Good afternoon. This post is for full transparency as I know many of you have come to me with questions in regards to parking. I wanted clarification as well, so I got in touch with the hotel. I'm going to tell you what I know and ask for you to please give me a bit to clarify things further with the hotel about how the $20 came into play in the first place. I have not been a part of venue emails until I had multiple authors coming to me for clarification. The social media manager, the one that people are coming to for answers, was not included on emails. But it should not have been announced that parking was just $20. The hotel has a third-party company that does their parking. There's $20 parking as shown below. It looks like for the attendees, parking will still run about $20 to $30. Update. I have been told the university lot across the street apparently charges $9 per hour. It would be a better deal for those only staying 1 to 2 hours. And then post this screenshot, hotel guest parking, valet overnight 54 plus tax, self-parking overnight 49 plus tax, oversized vehicle charge, yada yada. Transient visitor parking. Self-parking garage, 10-minute grace period. Lovely. $20 for 10 to 60 minutes, $29 for 1 to 3 hours, $39 for 3 to 6 hours, $49 for 6 to 24 hours. And for daily valet, 0 to 12 hours, 30, and 12 plus hours, 54. So that whole $20 parking, wherever that came out, is pretty misleading when it's actually like $20 for just like the first hour. Then Tristina makes this annoying post. Official update for authors and vendors. Let's set the record straight. Blackhearts is not canceled. New venue, Lowe's Vanderbilt Hotel. 2100 whatever. Starstruck gallery all in one large room, no more split spaces. The contract is signed and confirmed. I'll be sharing the new room block link as soon as it hits my inbox. Now about the chatter. Sometimes things shift behind the scenes, and when they do, I try my best to pivot to keep this event on track. That's exactly what happened, and honestly, we ended up in a venue that's an even better fit. What we're not doing. Feeding rumors, stirring drama, undermining an event that so many have worked hard for. Got questions? Feel free to message or email me or Juliet Bryan. Yes, we're juggling a million things and messages get buried, but I am here and doing my best to keep everything moving forward. And people did not love the tone of this post. How about answering the author's legitimate questions instead of snapping at us? We have every right to be concerned and confused. Nah, you're not going to talk to me like my abusive fucking ex did. Do not gaslight us or tell us what we can or cannot do when you are not answering questions. I wanted to be on your side and help you, but this is getting absolutely asinine. You're answering nothing and looking more and more shady. Where did the money go? Why was the Hilton not paid for before this? Why are other people not getting paid for signings back in March? Why are you fucking avoiding questions? We do not want a new venue. We want answers, so start answering. At this point, I will not be attending at all. Do not include me as a sponsor or author. I want a refund, but I doubt that will be given. This has become beyond unprofessional and I am exhausted. I will no longer be attending this event. Please remove my name from the banner. The way this was handled was so beyond unprofessional. Then we got someone chiming in. Great job securing a great venue and getting everyone into the same room. Last year's event in Nashville was fantastic. Oh, Robin, honey. So, at this point, authors are dropping out left and right. Parker A. Garner, I will no longer be attending the Blackhearts book convention. Authors and readers beware, this event company is a scam. I'll make a longer post about this later, but the events are still very much playing out. Another user says, y'all are in an outrage over someone mislabeling your author status. Other drama, don't worry about it. When Unalive Promotions is out here with 6 book events taking advantage of indie authors. 1, they refuse refunds. 2, poor communication. 3, haven't paid for a venue 5 days before the event. 4, have yet to establish a new venue. This was, I think, a day before, maybe. 5, refusing to speak with authors. 6, has deceptive practices. 7, gives away their general admission tickets and has authors front the entire bill. 8, doesn't advertise their events at all. 9, says they are still small, so that is the reason they have free tickets. 10, keep invoicing authors for events they back out of. If you have 6 events, you're not small. Stop lying or taking advantage of authors. 20 authors, $300 table fee, that's $6,000 for 1 day of events because the second day was canceled. You don't promote, you still have all of the money from authors who dropped out, you give away tickets, and the hotel canceled the contract for non-payment. Where is the money? Katie Knight. It's with a heavy heart that I make this post. After everything that has happened behind the scenes of this event, I no longer feel comfortable attending and supporting Unalive Promotions. On Sunday afternoon, 6 days before the event, the venue that was supposed to host the event canceled all room blocks associated with this event. When the authors called the event, they were told the event was not paid for. We began to ask questions, and it took the event coordinator 4 hours to say anything. She said the payment was pending with Hilton and a new contract would be signed, and they were the venue. But to be safe, she would look for a backup venue and keep us updated every step of the way. I still don't get it. This is where things went from bad to worse. That was the last we heard from her for 24 hours. No questions have been answered, over 30 authors were attending, and all of whom paid almost $300 for a table fee. And they requested payment in January, giving us a deadline of May. So why wasn't the venue paid for? Why was it pending so close to the event? With no answers, we called the hotel. They said, if the payment was pending, we would not have canceled. But the event is 100% not happening at our venue. So again, we waited and waited and waited for answers, as many were traveling out of state for this. Finally, she updated with a new venue. But why would there be a new venue if the payment is pending at the other one? Where did our table fees go? Why wasn't this taken care of months ago? These are all valid questions that have gone unanswered. The worst part, we can't get a refund unless they cancel the event, and I've already disputed the charge with my bank. But I put a lot into this for all this to happen. There's been no communication from the coordinator, no apology, she has not answered any questions, and she hasn't taken any responsibility. She blames the hotel for canceling the event with a pending payment. Yet they say they extended the payment deadline more than once and sent many notifications. And to have her tell us the payment is pending yet books a different venue is sketchy as hell. Yeah, like where did she get the money to book another venue? All around, this event has gone to crap. And since then, many more horror stories from this promotion company have come to life. I am sharing my story in hopes of warning other authors. What if she always knew she was going to cancel the event and never booked another venue? I just thought about that, but that is 100% me speculating. There's no fact behind that. I'm just talking. So it really just is so sad. Between poorly run events and like Kickstarter scams, I feel like everything just keeps being made harder and harder for indie authors, and it sucks. So the afternoon before the event was officially canceled, Juliet, the woman running the Facebook group, resigns. Okay, ladies and gentle bugs, I am officially announcing I am stepping back. I have enjoyed getting to know all of you in the time I have been admin here, but it sadly can no longer continue. I have spoken with Tristina and she understands. I will no longer be in a position to answer any questions regarding this or future Unalive events. I will also be making this post in other events where I am admin before removing myself. I love you all. You've been nothing but wonderful to me and so kind in my messages. Love, light, and may all your cookies have 0 calories. It seems as though Juliet was actually more of like a virtual assistant, and she was often left as clueless as everyone else. I'm really glad that she decided to get out of the situation, because it seems like she was really doing her best to help, but was kind of like thrown to the wolves with like no information to be giving. So finally, Unalive saw the writing on the wall and went ahead with canceling, but not without first blaming the authors for starting rumors. Tristina posted, "It has come to our attention that rumors have been circulating regarding the event on August 2nd, leading to the withdrawal of numerous authors and participants. There is no foundation to the rumors being spread, and we are investigating the matter. Unfortunately, this has led to a situation where we don't feel that we can provide the experience we initially envisioned. Therefore, it is now with a heavy heart that we need to cancel the event. If you have questions or concerns, feel free to reach out via email and I will respond as soon as possible." Yeah, right. You can also see in this screenshot that she made this group hidden from search and other places on Facebook, and she actually like suspended the group for 30 days. So like you can't do anything except look what's already there for 30 days. And probably she'll extend it. So I would love to know the rumors she's referring to and what exactly she means by investigating. This is author Meg Alivien, who did a great job keeping records of what was happening in her Instagram story highlights, which is cool. But here is a video of her kind of explaining all of this.
Okay, so I've been sick for the past 3 days, and I was hoping to recover in time to go Saturday and try to make this into something better. Luckily, she did the smart thing and just went ahead and canceled the event. However, she is now blaming us. According to her, there are numerous rumors with no foundation whatsoever, and now they are investigating. Sorry, she is investigating. I hate to break it to you, but there's an entire group chat of authors who have screenshots and have documented this entire process. I don't know what she's trying to say here with this little... I don't even know what to call this. Like, this is literally... I've never used green screen before, so I don't know how this works, but I'll share it in my story. This is bad. This is a bad look. No one ever worked with Unalive Promotions, because this has been a terrible, terrible experience for us. And honestly, from people I've spoken to who attended events in the past, apparently they were also kind of crazy, and she's notorious for last minute scrambling and changes and not communicating very well. So yeah, I just think this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Another video posted by Tierney Heisinger had a lot of really good insight as well. Some of this you've already heard me recap, but I really liked how she put it all together in this video. And of course, it's really nice to actually hear authors involved give their takes.
Hi friends, sit down and get ready for some piping hot tea in the book world regarding Blackhearts book signing this weekend that was supposed to take place on Saturday, August 2nd in Nashville, Tennessee. But before I get into the tea, I just want to ask everybody that is in the Nashville area or planning on being in the Nashville area on Saturday to please come out and see me and my new author friends at Black Abbey Brewing Company in Nashville. We are doing a pop-up book signing sponsored by Storybook Soirees. They have taken us under their wing. They have taken pity on us and have pulled this out of thin air. And we just want everyone to come and see us and support us. So if you are in Nashville this Saturday, August 2nd, please come to Black Abbey Brewing Company between 12 and 3 p.m. And now for the tea. So let me start off from the very beginning. I agreed to be a attending author at Blackhearts book signing in Nashville, Tennessee on August 2nd of this year, which is this Saturday. I was approved to be an author back in late March, early April, I believe. And I paid my table fees by the end of April. My table fees were $245, which I am now learning that it is an astronomical amount for a table fee for a vendor or an author. I never got an email confirmation or any type of recognition other than an invoice from PayPal that I paid my fees and that I was officially good to go as an attending author at this event. Red flag number 1. I could not get an email reply. I could not get an Instagram DM reply. And I did not know that they mainly communicated via Facebook at this point. So I went several months without any communication from Unalive Promotions or Blackhearts book event. There had also not been any promotion online for this event, at least not on Instagram, announcing any of the attending authors or highlighting any of the authors like they said they were going to, and they requested a picture of us and a picture of our books that we wanted to feature and any information we wanted them to feature, and they never did anything with that information. So that is another big red flag. Fast forward to this past Sunday, July 27th. Several authors who had their rooms booked with the Hilton got an email notification from the Hilton that their rooms had been canceled. And so they took to the Facebook group to ask what was happening and figure out what was going on, if the event was canceled, why their rooms were being canceled. And someone had called the Hilton, and it turns out that the Hilton never got paid for the event. Apparently, the payment deadline was extended twice and missed twice. The event organizer, Tristina Brockway, was radio silent for hours. No one could get a hold of her. Her assistant, who is an absolute angel and did not deserve to be put in the mess of this, could not get a hold of her for hours. Pause to read, but this is what Tristina finally posted to appease us and let us know what is going on. Apparently, the Hilton canceled the original contract because the payment was still pending and doesn't officially clear until Tuesday, which was yesterday, July 29th. However, they've already confirmed I can call back this week to finalize a new contract once the payment clears, and we'll get a new room block linked out to you then, likely Tuesday or Wednesday. And then she goes on to say that she's going to try and book a backup venue just in case. Several authors take it upon themselves to reach out to the Hilton to find out what exactly is going on, and the Hilton said that they would not be renewing and drawing up a new contract for Blackhearts book event this weekend. Over 70 comments and concerns were left on that post, and not a single one of them were answered or addressed by Tristina. Again, her angel of an assistant, who was really just running the Facebook group, was still in the dark as well, but she was trying to answer questions and field the concerns and just be a listening ear to gripe to for as much as she could. It's not until later that day that we finally get an email stating the same thing that was in the Facebook post. It's the next day before we hear anything from Tristina again, and that is to tell us that we have a new venue for our event. When we did finally hear from Tristina, she posted this. Please pause to read. But the basic gist of it is that we now have a new venue, which is the Lowe's Hotel in downtown Nashville on West End, which is a completely different town than Franklin if you are not familiar with the state of Tennessee. And number 2, she says, I'm going to read this verbatim, okay? Now about the chatter. Sometimes things shift behind the scenes, and when they do, I try my best to pivot and keep the event on track. That's exactly what happened, and honestly, we ended up in a venue that's an even better fit. What we're not doing, feeding rumors, stirring drama, undermining an event that is so many have worked hard for. She goes on to say that if we have any questions or concerns, we can reach out to her or her assistant, which obviously that has gone so well so far. And I don't know about you, but us asking questions and being concerned about traveling all the way to a different state for some of us and putting faith in an event that has not been open and transparent and honest with us thus far is not spreading rumors. More questions are raised, and they still go unanswered until Tristina finally posts this. Please pause to read. Great, that clears up a few more questions, but that still doesn't tell us about the parking situation at the new hotel. We keep asking about it. We need to know, are we going to have to pay for parking? How much is parking? Where is the parking lot? Where are we going? What is happening? We finally get an email giving us more information and finally some information on parking, and it says self-parking is available at Lowe's Vanderbilt for $20 a day. By this point, over 10 authors have dropped out of this event so far, and more are dropping like flies, and I don't blame them. The authors that did decide to keep going and continue on with this messed up book event called the Lowe's Vanderbilt Hotel, and they did not know anything about $20 parking. And they said, according to their website as well, self-parking is $49 a day. Again, concerns were raised, questions were asked, and the assistant finally was able to do a little bit of digging and came across this. These are the actual prices for parking at the Lowe's Vanderbilt Hotel. Self-parking overnight is $49 plus tax per night. Transient visitor parking, which is what we technically would have been, would have a grace period of 10 minutes, and then for 10 to 60 minutes, it was $20. 1 to 3 hours, $29. 3 to 6 hours, $39. And 6 to 24 hours, $49. Shortly after this was discovered, the assistant stepped down from any and all future events with Unalive Promotions and officially bowed out from Blackhearts. She was never going to be in attendance. She was just helping promote it, but she has stepped away and is no longer affiliated with Unalive events or Blackhearts events. By now, over the half of the original author lineup had backed out of attending this book event. Questions were still not being answered, and Tristina Brockway was nowhere to be found, so authors started speaking out against her. And finally, a few hours ago, this was posted to the Facebook group. It has come to our attention that rumors have been circulating regarding the event on August 2nd, leading to the withdrawal of numerous authors and participants. There is no foundation to these rumors being spread, and we are investigating the matter. Unfortunately, this has led to a situation where we don't feel we can provide the experience we initially envisioned. Therefore, it is now with a heavy heart that we need to cancel the event. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out via email and I will respond as soon as possible. So, Tristina Brockway, in the end, ended up blaming us authors for her lack of transparency and honesty and decency. If you are unable to work an event to this caliber, then you need to step down. There are way too many people that are counting on you for you to screw up this badly. There is no excuse. These are not rumors, these are facts. So I am warning all of my author friends, all of my book loving friends, do not participate in any Unalive event promotions. Do not go. Do not give them your money. Do not give them your time. Do not give them your travel expenses. They are not worth it. And I promise you, there's a good chance the event will not even take place.
So you might be wondering, after all of this negative publicity, is the company still going to hold events in the future? As of now, there haven't been any further announcements about cancellations or whatever, but people certainly are wary, and I think that wariness is only going to grow. An author named Amanda Marquardt was signed up to attend next year's Potions and Pages event, which is a new one, but she posted the following on her Threads account, and this was actually before Blackhearts was even canceled. So she says, this is a long one. I'm very disappointed with how this turned out and for what the authors, vendors, attendees of Blackhearts have gone through. I have no idea what their weekend will look like. I was so excited to visit Salem and meet readers and authors, but I'm not giving this organizer another dime. And then she has like a whole bunch of slides. So let's go through those. I debated posting about this because most people don't know that I planned to attend this event, so it didn't seem especially important right away. However, after the news of Blackhearts came out and so many of my author and reader friends didn't know what was going on, I decided I had to say something on the off chance it keeps others from joining an Unalive Promotions event in the future. I won't speak on Blackhearts because it's not my story to tell, but I'll share what I experienced for Potions and Pages. I received an acceptance in November. Author announcements were made in a Facebook group on Christmas Eve. It was quiet until January when they mentioned being at another event and getting back into the swing of things upon returning. In February, a few more authors were announced. In March, we were informed they were working on a shortlist of hotels for a venue. Same response in April. In May, they created an Instagram profile for the event that has yet to have anything posted to it. Our event isn't even listed on the main Instagram account. During this time, a few authors and vendors, myself included, were posting questions in the Facebook group to stay updated. Responses were minimal, if at all, and actions seemed reactionary versus proactive. After the IG page was created, an assistant popped up in the group. She said she'd be working on our contract following the two she was working on. She also said she had no business doing graphics and was relying on someone else to complete them so they could be posted. On June 11th, a poll was posted about room block pricing, and we were told there were still 2 groups ahead of us for graphics. On June 21st, I posted a long message about my concerns, including the lack of venue and social media presence, which would make it hard for attending authors and vendors to promote as well. Several authors agreed. While neither the assistant nor the organizer had responded to any of that, 4 hours later, we had a venue announcement, a Beventi page, announcement graphics, slight variation from the November version, and Salem newspaper and billboard promos. We haven't heard a peep since. And who knows when they will. There are still 5 events coming up listed on Unalive's website, so it'll be interesting to see if authors keep dropping out of those as well. And as you might have guessed, almost zero social media presence. This event with 0 posts is in October. There's an event in December that doesn't even have an Instagram account. The account for Frosted Flames hasn't been updated since last year's event. The March event Secrets and Sins doesn't have a page, and the May event Potions and Pages also has no posts. I really just have so many questions about how Tristina has managed to delude herself into thinking she can pull this all off. Time will tell. But for now, if you're planning to go to any of these events or know anyone who is, I implore you to reconsider. Even if you've already put money down and committed, the sunk cost fallacy is just that, a fallacy. It is much better to cut your losses now and find an event that will actually be worth your time, money, and energy. So this story actually does have a somewhat happy ending. As Tierney mentioned in her TikTok, a company called Storybook Soirees was able to work with a local Nashville brewery called the Black Abbey Brewing Company to provide a place for the displaced authors to do their signing. There is also a candle vendor called Scents, Stories, and Surprises that offered to purchase attending authors' books to display at the other events they're going to this year to any author that has been affected by Blackhearts book signing, Romance Con, a whole other thing, or any other disasters this year. I have several events still on my calendar for this year. I'm happy and willing to purchase books from a few of you to fill my booth space. Priority would go to anyone interested in joining our free merch program because then I can sell your book in a bundle with our merch products. But this is open to anyone affected by this mess that has stock to offload. This is the author form. You can email me, all of that. There's also a pop-up bookstore in Nashville called the Gilded Spine that postponed their own event to be able to come show support for these authors. They wrote, "While we will miss hosting our own event, we believe the Nashville bookish community needs us more in supporting the indie authors hurt by the Blackhearts cancellation. We will be over at Black Abbey Brewing supporting the authors from 12 to 3 with a great beer in hand. Thank you Storybook Soiree LLC and all the authors for trusting us to whip this together for you." And another book con actually stepped in as well, and they said, this is at HEA Book Festival. Happily Ever After Book Festival. "We've heard the news on social media about the cancellation of the Blackhearts book signing that was set for Nashville, Tennessee this weekend, and we hate to hear how it's affecting the fans and the authors who were supposed to be there. After some internal conversations with my team, we made a decision to offer anyone who has proof of purchase for that event, whether as a reader attending as a fan or an author who had a signing booth, free general admission to attend our event on Saturday, September 6th to try and make a little good news regarding the situation at hand. If you have any questions or wonder if you're eligible for this deal, just ask me here. Hopefully many of those affected can join us in Sevierville, Tennessee on September 5th through 7th and celebrate the romance fandom along with us. We will also be giving away some more free tickets to the event, so stay tuned this weekend on our social media for more info on that. Lastly, I extended the cutoff date for VIP tickets to this Sunday, so make sure you don't miss the deadline. If you are still wanting those, check out heabookfest.com for more info on our event." I talk a lot about shitty things and shitty people in the bookish community. But times like this remind me how special this community really is. There are always going to be bad people, but most of the time, people really are good, and seeing that in action here really just brings a smile to my face. And while this situation still sucks and authors still lost money, I'm glad that some good can be found in it. Today, in lieu of an indie author spotlight for this video, I am doing an indie authors spotlight. I'm going to add all their links down below, so if you want to help some authors recoup at least something, you can also get a fun new book in the process. So we have paranormal romance / romantasy author Melinoe Black, paranormal romance author Meg Alivien, romance author Tierney Heisinger, dark fantasy romance author Parker A. Garner, romance author Penny Crane, romantasy/thriller author Hope E. Davis, fantasy author N.B. Saltsman, romance author Eden Rosethorne, dark romance author Beth Kay, and many, many more. Those authors, however, I will down in the description link to where you can purchase their books. As I always say, indie authors are a vital part of the bookish community, so make sure to show your support wherever you can, even if that just means like a follow on social media or check out their website. I would love to not do any more videos on book signings gone wrong, but unfortunately they keep happening, and as long as they do, I will be out here trying to make sure that as many people as possible know about it and don't get duped. So if you did like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more just like it, make sure you are subscribed. I do also have a Patreon if you're interested in supporting me over there, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!